Hi, folks. Before we start module one, and this is kind of like a lecture lab blended into one week with it, all the classes. I don't read off a PowerPoint slide, but I think this is there are times that we have to look at some definitions and some terms together with it, and the technology that I'm going to talk to you about with it as well. So. This is like a preamble to before you get to approach on some of the hands-on activity that you're going to need to understand with it. You will be building a virtual reality environment. I can tell you that in here with it. But one of the tools that you should be familiar by now or comfortable in using is Figma, which is a prototyping tool. It's a collaborative prototyping tools with it as well. And that's what we use in industry with it. But before we get to that exercise, I want to talk to you about something else with it as well. So basically, here's the fork in the road. There's two types of VR developments. There's the native VR, and there's the web VR with it as well. Let me talk about the native VR, virtual reality with it. You do need to have some sort of headgear hardware, like a Meta Quest 3 or above with it. I recommend not a 2, but a Meta Quest 3 or 3S or a Meta Quest Pro with it. And those things the price starts at $299. You could do something like an HTC Vive. That's about I don't know, $1,000. The Lenovo is like $1,000. The Apple Vision Pro is about $3,500. They start out with. So they're pricey, is my point, if you're planning to do something like a native VR with it. The cheapest way, the one that you can get away with, is the Quest 3 S, okay, which is what I got with it. And the Quest 3, no S, is about $500 with it. So it's kind of pricey. The second thing is that you need to learn, there is a learning curve for Unreal game engine, and there's Unity game engines. These are the two leading industry people that they use to develop a lot of industry stuff with those two game engines with it. The recent conference that I went to is the Augmented Reality that was held in Dallas. It's a national conference with it. There were trucking companies, there were case studies, there was every company under the sun. Mobile gas company was there, Exxon was there, all these big names folks were all doing AR training in there, except for gaming. All right, so just want to let you know, this is an entire new field that we're exploring, and you'll be working. This entire course is about prototyping. It does require a higher learning curve with it. It's a moderate level prototyping level with it. It's not your beginning level of learning how to prototype using Unreal or Unity game engine with it. There is a game pipeline to import those asset files that you have to bring in. So eventually, if you're building things with 3D modeling with it, you could actually import in a lot of things from 3D modeling from Blender or 3D Studio Max, export it out, get low mesh as much as possible with it, and bring it into the game engine with it as well. All that's what we call as native VR. The other category is the web VR. This is what this course is about. Everybody has one of these cell phones, right? That we have. So everything comes in some sort of browser, Safari, Chrome, or some along the line that they can look at a web browser, is my point. So everything is browser based with it. The technology is, there's three technologies behind it. There's React 360, 3JS, and A-frame. We will be using what's called the A-frame because that's the least learning curve to learn from with it. So it's the lower learning curve. And there's a website that we're going to use. It's called glitch.com. I will talk more about it as the course evolves. And it's easy. It's basic asset imports with it, and everything has to be through HTTPS protocol, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. I'm going to talk to you about that in a second. And it's a simple prototyping tool. The learning curve is very, very easy to learn. We will use this path for this course with it. We recently got approved for an XR degree. So the first 2 semesters people will be using is the web XR, and as the course evolves in there with it, I will be teaching the native VR in there as well. So we're going to use this course for easy prototyping, and what you're going to be building is a virtual room. That's going to be viewed in an Oculus Quest set. Doesn't cost anything. Nothing costs anything. It's free. We're going to use Glitch with it as well. So I think everybody has a cell phone and there's a web browser. So this is an easy way how you can see holding up your web browser and going to the URL domain, and you could see your room in there as well. All right. So that's what I want to talk to you about is the 2 technology that's out there with it. We are on the right side. We're going to be doing web VR in here as well. So I just want to let you know. A-frame is the technology I share with you that we're going to be using. So all the asset files are going to be imported into the web browser with it. You're going to import a lot of this stuff, textures that you did in Photoshop or Illustrator. You bring it in through a web browser with it, but it has to be served through HTTPS, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. All right, HTTPS is the secure one with it. That's the protocol with it. And that's about it on the slide that last thing. 2 types of A-frames that we're going to look at in here with it. You have what you can do what I do, okay? And I don't recommend this for the developers only with it. So you can, if you're developing this or if you're going to major in this field, the XR field, then you as a developer, you will need to install what's called the XAMPP. I will have, if you're taking this class for a certificate and degree, you will have to do this pathway, is to install the XAMPP, download the XAMPP pathway, and I kind of give you a very preliminary step with it. And you're going to start the XAMPP server, which is basically an Apache server. The other piece is that the third step is you need to have some sort of IDE, some sort of editor. Industry uses what's called Visual Code, Microsoft Visual Code. After you do all 2 of these installation, you start the server. You need to restart the computer with it. It picks up all the change. Open up your browser. Step number 5, you're going to go in and type in localhost /dashboard. That's where everything is stored under a subdirectory called HTC docs folder with it. Underneath that, you're going to create a subdirectory called A-frame with it as well. So just in the long run, that's what you have to do, is to run this web server, Apache web server. It's going to pick up this virtual environment. You create a directory. When you open up your Teams, directory folder. You need to direct the folder in not MS Team. This is not what I meant to say. Code. Okay, to A-frame, not Team, not MS Team. Team is a Zoom software with it, but my apology. The word should be code here. To the A-frame folder or subdirectory. Okay, so that's in the long run with it. I don't expect you to do the developer. This is not what this course is about. However, we're going to actually do the glitch. Okay, the glitch is if you go to glitch.com, I'm going to talk to you about that and start in module number 2 with it. But first module, I need for you to come in, and I'll be glad to post this in my one of the files that's up in the server as well, in the eCampus folder for module 1. But just to show you what it looks like, I need for you, of course, by now you should be able to be comfortable on creating an account to a lot of these things with it. So let me pull up a web browser. That's what I'm looking at here. Hang on, hold on. This one. Let's use this one right here. With it. Let's do. Let me do just Figma. And one of the things that I need for you at this particular stage in the ballpark with it is to create a directory with Figma. Okay, so I just, I went and I just loaded up Figma. This is, you got cut off on my screen here. My apology with it as well. So I meant to put Figma on the PowerPoint slide because of my Camtasia. It's not picking up my the PowerPoint with it as well. But anyways, you know what I mean. So I should paste a Figma account here. Create a Figma account as part of your, if you have a Google account, you can log in with your Google account. It's the easiest way. All right, that is it for the particular preamble or lecture for this week with it. But this next exercise we're about to get into is Figma. And it's a very simple exercise that you will do in Figma is the VR of a menu, of navigation with it. Last note I want to talk about is why do we do prototype? Well, prototype is very important because before companies and industry invest money into a project, they need to see if this project is going to work. Okay? So you have to create, if I was going to create this cup and sell this cup, I need to know if it's going to leak or not. It's going to, is it water going to come through the material, or the, whatever the material is going to be, the size of it, is it going to hold 16 ounces or 10 ounces or that type of stuff with it. So I would have to create a sample product before I actually could go out and have hundreds and thousands of these things produced. Okay, does that make sense? Prototyping is incredible. So prototyping is what we get into. You talk about prototyping, and then the next stage is what? Proof of concept. Proof of concept you take up to industry. You get investors to invest into your product or your prototype concept with it, and then it moves forward from there on with it. So I'm going to conclude this video right now and end it right now with it. But please, understand the two types of developments with it. We're approaching this course. This is like the underlying, the fork in the road to why we're doing web XR and not native VR. Okay, web VR and not native VR in here as well. All right, couple of these slides might not be on. You just need to know it. I'm not going to ask you in an exam, but you need to know, be able to explain what that to industry with as well. Very well. Thank you. This concludes the first part of the video.